if you know anything about the X100 VI, you know that this camera is always out of stock. You know that a lot of people like to buy this camera. It went viral on social media and TikTok. And this camera is all about how it makes you feel. This camera is about how it inspires you to go out and take images. So the aesthetics is really, really important. Now, Freewell have designed an L bracket, a thumb grip, and a lens hood, which add to the aesthetic appeal of this camera, but they've also made them really, really functional. And that's something that I really like about this gear. Now, first of all, Freewell have sent me all of this gear free of charge. I get to keep it and I can use it forever. But they don't get to see this video before you do, and they haven't asked me to narrate the video in any particular way. So everything that you see and hear is my honest opinions, and I'm going to talk about all the pros and all of the cons when it comes to all of the accessories. Let's first talk about the L bracket, and I think this has to be my favorite. It fits so well on the camera. I love the fact that the paintwork matches the camera and it feels just as premium. In fact, I can't tell any difference between the colors or the shades of the aluminium used on the L bracket or the camera. I love the fact that there is a lip on each side which secures the camera in place, whilst you use a flat head to tighten up your L bracket at the bottom of the camera. So that's a welcome addition, so well done for that. Also, the battery door opens and closes very easily. There's an Arca Swiss plate at the bottom, so it goes straight onto a tripod mount. So this is a really functional L bracket, like many others, but it also has a really nice aesthetic appeal to it, and I like that. The grip is brilliant. I like the fact that it kind of tapers off a little bit, and you can put your 3 fingers here, and then your index finger kind of rests on the camera, and it kind of allows you to cushion your finger. So it's really well designed ergonomically. I really, really like it. Now, if I compare this to the one on my GFX 100 RF, this one is by, if I remember correctly, Small Rig. That fits on there, but as you can see, my fingers kind of, I don't know if you can see that. Let me see if I can show you. My finger's kind of dangling off. So where does it go? It's fine, it's comfortable, but Freewell have gone a little bit further, and they've created this little notch here for you to put your finger. So it's a really, really thoughtful design. So well done to Freewell for doing that. I really, really like it. You can remove this if you don't like the idea of this wooden aesthetic on your camera. There are 2 Allen key bolts at the bottom. There's an Allen key in the box. So on the whole, I really, really like the L bracket. I would definitely buy one of these. You can purchase the L bracket for £79.99 on Amazon here in the UK. And I think that's a really reasonable price. I don't think it's overpriced. That is what you would pay for a standard L bracket anyway. So highly recommend it. Definitely a thumbs up, and I'm going to be keeping this on my camera. Now, let's have a look at the thumb grip. Now, I've never personally used a thumb grip before in the past, but now that I've actually used this one, I'm really pleased with it. And a lot of the times when I would be carrying this camera, I'd be holding it from the front and my thumb would be here. So it felt unnatural. If I kind of show you that, my thumb would be just there. It felt really unnatural, and I would get fatigue in my thumb and my fingers. But now that I've got the L bracket and the thumb grip, if I was to put my thumb, and I actually use the lower part of my thumb on here, it just feels really, really natural. And I really like it. Now, Freewell have gone one step further, and they've included a cold shoe that you can actually mount onto the thumb grip, so that you can attach maybe a light or a mic. And I think that's a great addition. So well done for doing that. You can remove it so that it has a more flush and sleek look in line with the lines of the camera. So you've got aesthetic and you've got function, which is fantastic. So overall, I love the way that both the thumb grip and the L bracket actually help me hold the camera, and it means that I can actually hold it like this all day long and walk about with it without getting fatigue in my fingers, because it's not awkward to hold. So these 2 accessories I will most certainly be keeping on the camera. I like the way they look, I like the way they feel, and I love the function of them. So another thumbs up to Freewell for that. Now, Freewell also sent me the showstopper, which is the real lens hood. Now, you would have seen loads of square lens hoods on Amazon, and they generally add a lot of aesthetic to the camera, and they actually make the camera have this kind of retro look and feel. And this lens hood also does exactly the same, but it also adds some really valuable features. And I think Freewell have really gone to town with this because they've really thought about how they can improve on existing ideas to make this really more functional. So the first thing is, in the box, you receive a CPL mist filter inside the hood, which is great. The hood actually screws onto the lens barrel, and if you've used any of the other lens hoods, you have to really tighten them on to get this line here in line with this line just over here to get it straight and perfect and looking good, right? And sometimes I've had to tighten them on so much I feel like I'm going to rip the the lens from the actual camera. But this is really good. It screws on, and then this lens hood just twists around. And once you've kind of set it where you want, it's got a couple of Allen key positions on the side which you can tighten up, and then it's staying put. So it's really good. So mounting it on your camera is much easier than any other lens hood that I've used. The other great thing about this is that you can, using these red tabs on the side, spin your CPL filter. Now, if you imagine having a CPL filter inside a square hood, just imagine if I had to put my finger in there to spin it around, I'll probably end up with a whole load of smudges on there. And then I'd have to have a cleaning cloth to clean it all off, and that's a bit of a nuisance. So I love the fact that there are these red tabs on the side, and they have hard stops. So when I spin them around, they stop, and you know that you're either polarizing your image or you're not. And that's a really good touch. Now, I suppose the only kind of niggle I have is that they're red and they don't really look that great. So maybe if they were silver, they would have been a bit more sleek and probably would have looked a little bit more premium. But I understand why Freewell's probably done this, is to make sure that your fingers don't slip when you are turning them. I suppose you can match it with the red shutter button, which I did get in the box actually. So kudos to Freewell for sending me one of those as well. And then I suppose you've got the red accent that you can have on the camera, and that looks quite cool as well. So this is fantastic. Like, I don't think any other lens hood manufacturer is doing this, and I think it's a really good idea. And for those of you who shoot landscapes and you use CPLs or other filters to block out some of the light, this is really good. And of course, it works in conjunction with the built-in ND filter. So really, really impressed with that. I think that's a great idea. Now, that's not all. The other really good feature is that the lens hood actually comes down like this. So I'm just going to show you like this. And that's really good, because if you needed to change that, you can just change the filter, unscrew it, comes off, put another ND filter, put a different type of filter on, whatever you want, and the lens hood is magnetic, it sticks back on. So if I was to show you on my mic, it's magnetic, it's got a nice satisfying click. It's really nicely designed. The hinge at the bottom is really well dampened. It doesn't feel loose, it's nice and tight. There's no play in this at all. It feels really premium, and it's such a good idea. So I like the fact that you can drop this down, take the filter off, swap it out, and then put a different filter on, and then close the lens hood. Now, if there was one niggle that I had with this lens hood, it would be this. If you look closely, you will see that there is a bit of a lip inside here, and the lens hood is actually a little bit wider. It's a bit girthier than the actual lens barrel, and that doesn't look brilliant. It's okay. It's not the end of the world, but I kind of would have preferred if it was the same size as the barrel. Now, I understand why Freewell probably couldn't do this. It was probably a bit of a design challenge for them, because you've got this rotating ring here which controls the CPL. So I suppose they've got the best of both worlds, right? They've got the square hood, which is aesthetic. They've got the function of the CPL filter. They've got the amazing design, but then they've had to work with the fact that this hood is a little bit wider in diameter than the lens barrel. To be honest, I'm noticing it because the camera's so close up to my face, but if you're walking by the camera, you would just look at that and think, that looks really good. So I don't actually think it's that bad. It is worth mentioning that it's a little bit thicker. You could get a little bit of dust in there. I'm assuming this is weather sealed. On the whole, I like the fact that the paint matches. I like that the fact that it's made of aluminium. I like the fact that there is the CPL rotation ring on there. I like the fact that you can remove the hood. Personally, I don't change my filter once it's on. I keep it on, I don't change it, I don't look at it ever again. So maybe I wouldn't go for the lens hood, maybe I would just buy the lens bracket and the thumb grip. But if you are the type of person that needs to change these filters, then this is a really, really good idea. So I love this. I love the fact that Freewell have done such a great job, and they've obviously really thought about this and thought about both aspects. You know, this is the X100 VI. You've got to have the accessories that make this camera look even better than it already is. But then you don't want those accessories to limit you, and I think Freewell have actually nailed the balance there. So well done to them. Now let's just have a look at the pricing. Now I mentioned that the bracket, the L bracket, is $79.99. I think that's definitely worth it. I love the fact that it's a bit of a recess here for my index finger. So great job there, Freewell. The thumb grip is $39.99, which I think is pretty much the standard going rate for a thumb grip. Considering that it's got this removable cold shoe on the top, I think that's a real big bonus. So I highly recommend that. The real lens hood is $129.99, which is a little bit expensive, but it does come with the filter inside. It's Freewell's own mist filter, and I'm not sure how much that is, but I think other lens hoods are about 50 quid, maybe 40 pounds. And then what, 20, 30 pounds for the filter, so 80 quid. Maybe this is a little bit more expensive than what people are used to paying, but then if you're getting all of this added functionality, I think most people will be like, yeah, you know what, I'm going to go for it. And if you are that type of person, then I highly recommend you get this, because you don't want to be messing about when you're out and about taking your lens hood off, right? Considering how tight they have to be screwed on, then you have to replace your filter, put the lens hood back on all over again, and you're out, you're fiddling, you know, you're getting your filter in your pocket and it's getting dust all over it. So this just will straight away reduce like 10 minutes worth of faffing about with your camera. So honestly, I think this is a fantastic option. I love what Freewell have done. I'm definitely keeping all of this gear on my camera, and I'm going to be using it when I get out and about, and I'll probably be posting some photos with this camera and this CPL filter. So check out my Instagram in the next couple of weeks as I post stuff. I'll link all of that in the description below. I'll also link all of these accessories in the description below. So thank you, Freewell, for sending this gear across to me. I look forward to working with you guys again in the future. If you have any other innovations that you want to send, then reach out, you know where I am. To everybody else who is thinking about this and has seen this advertised maybe on YouTube or Amazon, then take it from me. I think this is a really good option, and it's probably worth the money if you are going to make use of all of the functionality of this. Anyway, look forward to seeing you in the next one. As always, please do leave your comments and your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next one.